Preston?
Ridiculous.
Okay, ready to go. Hey, St. Paul, great to be with you again as we recap what went on this weekend. And Pastor Hopkins this weekend preached on the lie as we go through this Lie Satan Loves to Tell series. The lie that life will be better if you seize more control. And so Pastor Hopkins, as you went through looking at that, you mentioned to me something also that came to mind that didn't make it into the sermon, but you were talking about. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, control or power is kind of a funny thing because you do have so much like a bad use of it, right? And the way that Satan really tempts us to misuse any kind of power we have and to try to really make ourselves the gods of our own life, right? And make it so that we are like Adam and Eve, trying to be like God, knowing what's right and wrong on our own feet and using that as we want to. But there is one of the fruits of the Spirit, remember, is self-control, which already points to some level of which we need to be able to talk about an appropriate and right use of control and power.
Okay, so I seize control for myself, which can be bad. So self-regulating that idea of control is important. I know also when I think about authority and people controlling me, it almost leads me to then an understanding on the opposite side of this lie of Satan. Like, I shouldn't let anyone have control over me, right? Because now I can trust my authority over myself. I don't think I can trust their authority over me because they're just going to wield their power. That's going to, push me down or do things for their own good and not mine. So how does that relate to also the idea of seizing control and knowing that there's God-given authority,
right,
and then there's also the control that I have over my own actions? How does that all fit together?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, this is going to take way longer than 5 or 6 minutes. So
we wanted to cover this for you guys.
To cover all of this, but I think what you're pointing towards is something really important, which is that God has given us vocations, right? Like we're fathers. And when we're talking to our kids, we have an appropriate level of power and authority. If we don't use that, if we just let our kids do whatever they want and we don't direct them to learn God's word, we don't direct them to treat others well, their siblings, right?
Right.
Then we're not doing our jobs. Right? We're not using power the
Correct.
way God has given to us.
Yeah.
And yet, at the same time, it's so easy to also begin to try to seize control of that authority now over and against my wife, or even instead of for my kids, over and against my kids.
Yeah.
And maybe that's even kind of the key is, are we using this power in terms of God's commands and the responsibilities and callings he's given us, or are we using it for me?
Yeah.
And I'm using it for me over and against you, over and against somebody else. I think that's why I tried to focus on faith and humility. Yeah. Because, faith is the way in which we recognize that God is always the one in control. And even in and through me as dads, as moms, in whatever vocations God has given us, that's really God using his authority in and through us in these things.
So ultimately recognizing that it's God's power and authority that he's placing into our hands to use. We think about the gifts that he's given to us in different ways too. This is another one of those. And we act as stewards or managers of that then authority that he gives to us, but ultimately giving all glory to him, understanding that this only is ours because it is his. And
Absolutely.
That helps reframe the way that we see it in ourselves, see the importance of the authority of others too, in that godly aligned way.
Right. And trusting that God is using that power and has our good in mind, right? When he gives us his commands and gives us his words, that's the faith piece. And also recognizing over and over, we're merely stewards, right? It's not that I have this power to use for me, but rather God has given me this authority and I get to use it for others and put him first.
Good.
Right? Not me.
Yeah, to the glory of God. So
100%.
share Jesus with them. That's the ultimate goal in all the things that God gives us to do.
Yeah. Some more we could say, I think, about power and control and authority here.
Probably.
That's a good place.
It's a good nugget for today.
That's right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, see you in church.